my name is Sam. Thanks for checking out this video. If you get to the end and liked it, then subscribe, bell notification, give the video a thumbs up. So this is part 2 to Sunday's wrap up, just because I missed last Sunday because of a variety of reasons I explained in the last video. And I read a lot, so it was kind of impossible to fit it all into one reasonable sized video. So yeah, let's pick up where we left off. I read The Sisters Grimm. So this book has like a, I think 3.4 or something like that review on rating on Goodreads. And at first I was like, oh, that's not a good sign. But I read it anyways because I wanted to read it. I had my audiobook came in through the library. I can see why not everyone likes it, but I don't think it deserves a 3.5 rating. I also could not regurgitate to you what the hell happened. It's a book. It's like the Starless Sea. When you get to the end, you're like, what? Like, I know I read a book, and I know things happened, and I know what happened. Like, it's in my brain, but like, I can't explain it to you. So like, literally just go to Goodreads and read the summary, and that's where it is. I loved it. I loved it. I loved all the different POVs and the different like statuses, and there's this like kind of murderer on the loose that you know who he is, but like the sisters, who are all descendants of this one like demon Grimm, don't, and so they kind of like they get lured in different ways at different like types of the moon cycle. There are certain times where like they can then take them to like the Grimm world and like kill them, and like it's this whole thing. I really highly recommend reading it if it does sound interesting to you. I really liked the characters though. I liked a lot of their backstories. I will say, giant, huge trigger warning though. One of the characters is sexually abused by her stepfather. It's off page, but it is like, you just, when you read it, when I read it, I kept, like, it was before it was even kind of, like, it was just being like vaguely hinted at with the vocabulary or things that the character was saying as a kid. But I was just like, oh no, oh god, please let me be, maybe I'm misreading this. Maybe I'm misreading this. Like, no, like, please. And then like, I think it was like 2 more times when they switched POVs, and when it came around to hers, it was like, oh, gross, oh god. Someone save this poor girl, let her live a good life. So I think a lot of the characters were relatable though, and just because there's such a wide variety of their backgrounds, I think there's always someone from a background that you would find relatable. The Boy in the Red Dress by Kristen Lambert. This was one of my most anticipated books of the year. It's got someone who identifies as male but is dressing as female, and is doing like it's during Prohibition in a speakeasy, so they're doing like the entertainment aspect of it, and all of a sudden on one night, someone from their past life shows up, and through a series of events and over a little bit of time, that person is found dead. So everyone assumes it is the character who is like the entertainment because it's from their past life, and they were also seen having an argument. The main character is like the detective trying to prove that the cops who have, their biases, she wants to prove like who exactly did the murdering to protect her friend because she knows that they're being targeted, but as well as like someone was murdered, like what the heck was going on and what are these secrets and everything. So it was really interesting actually to read a book set in this time period when, I mean, like, I know in my brain that like not even today, like especially in the United States, but like even today, there's still people who are homophobic, transphobic, queerphobic across the board, even people that are in the LGBTQ community. So it's really, really, I don't think it like blasé about it, because the main character knew the whole time that the cops are potentially targeting her friend because he dresses as she after night, right? So it's like, I know in my circle of friends, all of us love and watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, it's just like, people do that. Like, they're people still. Like, whatever. It's none of my business. Most of the time I'm jealous because they can their makeup skills are way better than mine than anything else. So, the main character, like, she's aware of that, but I feel like for the majority of the book, the focus was on the main character who is doing the sleuthing. It was on, like, her relationship with her mother and her aunt, which is very complex and all over the place. But I don't think that we had to, like, interact much with, like, a lot of, like, homophobia or transphobia. Like, there wasn't any, like, huge slurs thrown around or anything like that, which was one thing that I was, like, kind of like, oh, I don't know if I can, like, read this right now. It's just a lot to constantly have to read those things, and I'm not even a part of that community. Like, I'm never going to be targeted like that for just being me. So, like, but even then, like, it's just, like, it gets too much to, like, hear that stuff all the time. Especially here living in Alberta. Like, I can't handle the amount of, like, bigotry. It's just an awful lot. Which is funny, because every time I see people, like, drag Alberta for being exactly what Alberta is. There are people like, well, you've just never visited Alberta. Bitch, you don't need, I live here, okay? If you've seen our politics, you figured it out. It's not a giant figuring like hole of like, ooh, why is this? No, we're big bigots here. This is Alberta. Like, you can like have some changes in the city hubs, but people here are like devoutly religious, and they use the religion to just be bigoted towards everything here, right? So it's very interesting to like, it was nice to read a historical fiction that had that representation in it for once, that like there wasn't just like a lot of aggression and a lot of homophobia being thrown at a character being constantly beaten down. So I don't think it necessarily ignored it, but it was just like a nice break. I also read The Fascinators. This book didn't end up being everything I was hoping it would be. I liked the setting. It's like our modern world, but it has a little bit of magic, though I did laugh just kind of on that same note of like living in the South where people are very bigoted towards not normal or not the norm. So some characters have the ability to do magic and they're basically targeted at school for it. Imagine that. So there's this different perspectives that one of the characters at the beginning of the book essentially accidentally joins a cult and then like can't get out, and that cult has something stolen from them by Group B, and Group B is like the kids in a high school, and they start interacting and trying to figure out like the book that was stolen and everything about that. I liked some of the characters. I detested one of the characters. I think his name is James. I hated him so much. It's the main character's best friend. I don't know if he was supposed to have like a redeeming arc or a redeeming personality, or if I was just supposed to like generally like him, but I detested that character so much. It's a lot of like, and the main character who's like kind of, it seems like has a crush on him, right? It makes excuses for him just being like a shitty person. Yeah, he has like a crappy like home life. It seems like his dad's a piece of trash. But that doesn't then give you a pass to just be a shitty person to everyone else. And he has a substance abuse problem as well. Which again, if you want help, you know, there's people there you can put. But that does not mean that you therefore get let to just let people roll over you because they have a crappy home life and addictions. That's literally my whole family dynamic most of the time of like why I don't speak to some of my family. Like, so there's it was just very, maybe that's why, because I connected. It was incredibly frustrating of a relationship dynamic between them, and I really did not like it at all. So I think the book overall for me just kind of fell like in the middle of the pack, like a 3 stars. It wasn't everything I was hoping it was going to be. The cover is very pretty though. I picked up The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I got, I think, 1 hour in on the audiobook and I DNF'd it. I hated everyone. Hated everyone, hated the dynamic, hated the writing, hated everything. Just DNF'd it, was not for me. Then I picked up Deviate because True Life comes out at the end of June. I have it pre-ordered, and I wanted to make sure that I could read it right away. There's also like, I'm first in line on the hold for the library, and there's like 20 people behind me or something like that. So I was like, I would like to read it as soon as I get it so we can move through the hold faster for the people behind me. So I picked up Deviate. I also didn't pick this one up yet because I was like, his endings always hurt. That's just like Jay Kristoff's like pièce de la résistance. That's his trademark, is it's gonna hurt at the end. So I waited until we were closer to True Life, and I'm very, very glad I did. I don't think I could explain any of this book without spoiling everything that happens in life. Like, I just, yeah, it's a lot of like, some people get kidnapped, and like, it's in the world, like, ravaged by climate change, and there's, oh, I did laugh, there's this town that basically gets taken over by a bunch of, like, religious zealots, and, the way that the language the characters are talking about, and I was like, is Jay Kristoff putting the southern United States on blast? Like, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but, like, if the shoe fits. But yeah, really, really liked it. I think if you like Lifelike, you'll like this one. I'm scared to spoil something in this if I say anything, so I highly liked it, and I'm very excited for True Life. Very, very excited. And I think the last one that I finished this week was Ice Wolves by Amy Kaufman. She's coming to the TBR and Beyond group. I'm very excited. I have Scorched Dragons. I'm hoping to pick it up in June, if not July. Probably going to be July because we're doing Pride events in June. And then Battleborn comes out in July, I think. Right? I think it's July. I'm pretty sure it's July, because she has another book. I don't know when Amy Kaufman sleeps, because, like, she has Battleborn, which is the 3rd book of this series, coming out. She just had Aurora Burning, is the 2nd book come out. She has her next book, The Other Side of the Sky, with Megan Spooner, which is the start of their new series, comes out this year, in 2020. She also has a book in 2021, I think, released, supposed to come out with Ryan Groden, which is a new series. And then whatever the next Aurora cycle. She also just had a baby, like, in the last year. I don't know what you're doing, but like, share the skills, girl. Like, if I could function at that high level, like the organization she has to have all those projects going at the same time, I can't even fathom. But anyways, I freaking love this book. It's so cute. I love that there's always like when they have like siblings that love each other, but they're on like opposite sides of whatever the sides are. So this is wolves and dragons, and they're trying to find that bridge to bridge those communities. I always love that so much. I love the covers of this series so much, and I love the rags to riches, and like he finds his home sort of in these people in the wolf, which is something that as an orphan he's kind of always wanted. So I really loved that part especially. I was planning on finishing King of Fools this week. I'm like 70% left on it, but I got distracted because August D / Suga from BTS dropped a mixtape with like a day's well, it wasn't even noticed. The fandom figured it out because Apple messed up. But so I've just been like busy binging that content. So my goal is just for the end of the weekend to finish The King of Fools, and then I should be, back on track. So I will link all of these books in the description box down below. I will also link all of my social media. If you follow me, I will follow you back, and I will see you in the next video.